Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good day, wherever you're tuning in. We highly appreciate you here uh, in One Global Movement for what you are doing. Like we always say, you could have been somewhere, but you chose to be here because you know why. Your why is larger than some of the things that you could have been doing out there. Because if you and I don't come here, if all of us don't come here together to do what we are doing, we know that the world will not change for the better. And because we want the world, we ask that God helps us so that we can change the world. That's why we take the time to be here. It doesn't matter whether we want to or not. It is a need that the world needs so badly, especially our children, women, and young people. A lot is going on around the world. If we don't open our hearts, our minds, and our eyes to really look around intentionally, we will miss what is going on. And what is going on is not going to just affect those that is affecting presently. It's going to in turn affect us and our families. And therefore it's a global thing. What affects one child affects all children in the world. What affects one woman or one young person affects, that is the rule of nature. And so we cannot exclude ourselves just because we think that we are in a better position. It does never works like that. And so thank you again so much. And thank you is what I can give you. And God will continue to increase and to guide, lead, and protect us so that we will continue to do what we are doing here in One Global Movement. It's a global thing. Like my sister always says, it's a global thing. So thank you guys so much. I will be so shaky here. And we've always asked ourselves and also teaching our families and children that do what you can with what you have where you are. I am here. I just connected to my Wi-Fi. I am in the garden, One Global Movement Garden, one of the gardens that one church gave to us before we had this other big one. And so people want to come and buy some corn. Corn is ready. And so I was harvesting some corn and I just said, whoop, it's time. Let me just hop on. And I hop on with my farm clothes. That's why you do not have to be ashamed of who you are, what you have, because those things are there for a reason. You are who you are for a reason. So I hop on here with my farm clothes because this is what I have for the moment and this is where I am, and I have to make the best with what I have and where I am, and we all should, without being ashamed, without being afraid. Criticism does not do us anything if we program our mind not to even pay attention to those things. So thank you again. And today's Friday. We are always making it, and we thank God. And we want to continue to put our hands together for our CEO. Whatever he is doing, that God should continue to show him, to lead him, to guide, and to protect him and his family, to do the best for humanity, because all of this is for humanity. Otherwise, there would have been no way that you and I, all of us here, will come together as a global family to do what we are doing. Whether we like it or not, dig right deep into you. That's exactly what our CEO is doing, and also call all of us to do. Let's keep taking action. Like Martin Luther King says, if you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. By any means, keep moving. And that's why I keep moving. But also make sure that if you keep moving, you can also rest so that you can have the brain capacity and capability to think well and do better. That is so important. Take good care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Be positive in your words, in your actions, how you dress, in everything, how you eat. Very, very important. Think positive. The power of positive thinking is very good because everything emanates from the power of thinking positively. So, another wonderful topic today. Thank you so much, my beautiful sister Yvonne Finn. I am so grateful that God sent you the way of One Global Movement children, women, and young people. And all of you who are in the chat, I am blessed and highly favored. that God sent you the way of One Global Movement to come and support me in what we are doing here, because this is a life for me. This is life and death for me. I have to live my life this way. There's no other way that I could have imagined living my life but this one, because this is who I am. This is who I was as a child. And this is how God has ushered me in the world to bring the greatest news of all to women and children by living the life that I live. And therefore, I take this very seriously. I say One Global Movement is here for life, and it will continue even up to 1,000,000 generations plus, because of the legacy that we all are living here together for One Global Movement. My descendants will continue. Your descendants will continue. Together, these will continue to help children, because they're still facing the same challenges again and again every day, and it's even worse, and they put it in very cohesive and very cunning ways, but they keep exploiting and harming children and denying them their right, their basic human rights and their birthright to what they deserve. That is learning, eating a healthy food, exposure. They're excluding them instead of including them, and the choices that God created us with, they are not having it. Some will have, some will not, and we are here to do the right thing and do it with love, dignity, and respect for children, without taking away their rights from them. We do it according to the way that they understand, according to the way that they've been raised, according to their culture and custom. That's the only thing we can do. Any other thing we cannot, because we cannot take that away. And we will not allow that to be taken away from them, because we wouldn't allow that to be taken away from us either, because we gave birth to those children, and we do it with respect and dignity, without any fight, without any quarrel, because children don't dwell in a place where there is no peace. They dwell in a place of love, peace, and respect and humility. So thank you today. And sister, if you want to take the charge first, that's fine, because this is a One Global Movement team day. But if you want me to go, I will go, and then you can follow whichever way.
Yes, you let me see which direction you want to go, because I've done it different ways. You know how I am.
No, we always do it different ways, because that's the best thing to do. That is the best thing to do.
Yeah, so let's see where you go.
We are in One Global Movement Revolution Part 359. Wow.
Yes.
We are climbing. Learning against all odds. Remember, learning. We cannot feed a child without teaching them how to feed themselves. Learning is number one. And learning, we always want to clarify, is not necessarily classroom learning, sitting in a classroom with a curriculum that is like one size fits all. No. What have you watched your child gifted in? What do they like to do? You start teaching those children right there from home, teaching them skills that will build them economically strong, socially strong, spiritually strong, mentally strong. That is what we are talking about here. So, learning against all odds, educating youth in crisis zones. Why this statement? Why this topic? Why? Because we understand the challenges that young people, children, and women are going through in the world. And the worst of all is a crisis zone, such as war, and then you have refugee camps, you have abuse at home, you have sex trafficking, you have lack of education, failure to educate children, you have eating unhealthy food. You have a lot of things. These are all crises that contribute to their mental and physical well-being that we are going to be talking about here today. And I want to thank you again for this beautiful topic. Just so you guys know, she has taken the responsibility of bringing out these topics, because she's experienced in what she's doing. She knows she's experienced in child upbringing and other things. So because I am busy now with other things and the garden and harvesting season, so she's doing a wonderful job, and others that are doing great, like Sister Sharon and the managing, and other people that are working behind the scene. We all bring this together and we make it this beautiful. And this is, if not now, then when? If you don't do what you're doing now, then when? If not you, then who? Who do you want it to do? One global movement is rising so powerfully. A lot of people are joining. Their eyes are on one global movement, and we are reaching huge audiences, global audiences. Just so you know, it's not just
Mm-hmm.
for our family here, our global family by our CEO, but the whole world is paying attention to what we are doing here, and we must continue to do it. So, learning against all odds, educating youth in crisis zones. Wow, this is so beautiful. And
Indeed.
we like to start with our beautiful quotes too, a lot of times. So,
Mm-hmm.
education is not a privilege in times of peace, it is a necessity in times of war.
Yes.
Very important. Education is not a privilege in times of peace, but it is a necessity in times of war. In times
Mm-hmm.
of war, we must educate children, we must educate women and young people. Because without that education, they would not know how to seek for peace. They will not know who to trust. Because when there is chaos, in the world, such as war, there is a lot happening. There is thievery, there is raping, there is lies. A lot of things happen that if we don't educate them, they will not know how to come out of this situation. But we have to educate ourselves first, with the parents, the adults, and the caregivers, so that these children can hopefully see, and so that we can educate them the right way. So in the midst of a rubble means confusion, maybe just a bomb or whatever. I'm sorry to say those things, but it is a reality. And
Sure it is.
in the midst of a rubble, fear and flight, a child clutches a book. Imagine, in the midst of all of this, instead of looking for a gun or something or a bomb, they clutch to a book. Imagine that. Just imagine it for a second. Not just a symbol of hope. A book is not just a symbol of hope, but a lifeline to a future that refuses to be silenced. One global movement stands at the forefront of a global mission to ensure that no child's mind is left behind,
Yeah.
even in the world's darkest corners. They should know that this is what I have to look for. These are the tools that I have to employ when this is happening. And therefore, we want every child to be reading every day. Read,
Yes.
do something, not just watching TV. Get into the library, get into books, ask questions. Ask here in One Global Movement, what can we do? What can I do in a situation like this? Together, we will find answers, because we don't know, we don't have all the answers, but we will find it, because we are determined to find the answers to provide for our children, young people, and women. So, the heart of crisis, in the heart of crisis, what happens? When war steals childhood, today, over 222 million children and adolescents living in crisis zones lack access to consistent, quality education. War has displaced their dreams, interrupted their development, and shattered the infrastructure of learning. These children are not only fleeing bullets and bombs, they are fighting to preserve their identity, potential, and peace of mind. Just imagine, I cried when I was researching this topic, because I imagined my own situation, which was not a war, but it was a war, a family war, a war that a child never called for. That's still a war. But imagine this one with bombs and guns. Imagine no food, you're running for safety, you're not even thinking about food, you're not even thinking about a book. Just imagine. So, education is not a privilege, like we say, in times of peace. It is a necessity in times of war, in times of crisis. Learning in times of crisis. Very important. So, across refugee camps, just imagine, across refugee camps, occupied territories, and fragile states, states that have been reduced to become fragile not by their own choices, but by the choices of others. I was reduced to what I was reduced to, not by the choice of a child, but by the choice of a father. And it is the same thing we are talking about here. With a child that has been reduced to nothing, not because of their choice, growing up without safety, without a safety net of schools, imagine, without the voices of teachers guiding them, or the solidarity of classmates walking alongside them, singing songs and supporting one another, or telling them that I am here for you. I am here, I'm your classmate. We can do this math problem together. We can sing together. We can create music together. Imagine that. Just imagine. Their classrooms are tents. Imagine refugee camp. Their classrooms are tents, bomb shelters, and dusty streets. Yet their resolve to learn endures. They still want to learn. They are hungry. They have that hunger for education, even in refugee camps, even when the bullets are flying up in the air. And so now, what is One Global Movement vision in all of this? Bringing crisis and classroom together. We must bring the crisis and classroom. That means we need to visit refugee camps. We need to visit those areas, because a lot goes on in those camps that we don't know until we go there and put ourselves in the shoes of those people. At least the refugee camps are safe to some degree. But before you go there, let the authorities know what you're going to do there so that you can be protected. So One Global Movement is rooted in the unshakable belief that every single child, regardless of their life circumstances, has a divine right to learn, to grow, and to thrive. Our mission is to create safe, accessible, and culturally inclusive educational spaces for young people in crisis zone, especially for our young girls who are often doubly marginalized. Especially, we know that. We know. That's why we want us parents, adults, and caregivers to protect the young people, but with a special focus on young girls. Because it's going on. I have heard and I have seen, and I see it all the time. Preachers are preaching that please, please protect the youth, but focus on young women. It is a reality that we are living, but it's just disguised in different ways, because these manipulators, they know exactly what they're doing. But we too should learn to be smart and therefore teach our children. So through advocacy, grassroots partnerships, and global campaigns, we here in One Global Movement must empower displaced communities to transform makeshift spaces into centers of resilience, like create little spaces into centers of resilience. And knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is powerful. So where others see brokenness, let One Global Movement see builders. Where others see ruins, let us here see rising scholars rising out of crisis zone. Let's see that. So what does this mean? Breaking barriers? How do we do that? Rebuilding dreams? How do we do that? To realize this mission of One Global Movement, that means OGM is committed to establishing mobile learning centers that reach children in active conflict and refugee camps. Like what I started doing here with one of the One Global Movement ambassadors, senior ambassadors. We go to the children's hospital. I am going to refugee camps. I am going to schools. I'm going to other places to spread this message there. And when I go, I print some of the books and take them there, or I offer books to adults until we get more children's books. And this is also a call for us to set donation booths in schools where we attended, in churches that we attend, in other places, so that they can donate books and backpacks and pencil writing materials, so that we can pass them around the world. You can do it. You can do it. Let us do it. And so when we do it, you don't have to ship it to me. We will look in our same community to see where can we take these things there. We take them there. Which countries are those that go through all of this the most? Then we can then ship them there. One global movement can then ship these things there. And I've been shipping things too. I'm not just talking, I've been shipping things. And
Yep.
so this is very, very important. And we should all come together to do this. So
Yeah.
establishing these mobile learning centers that reach children in active conflict and refugee camps or zones is very important. So
Mhm.
we can also train local educators. Now, the program that I'm going to start with 3 little girls. I want to start like that so that I can pull in parents. I can pull in parents. So we educate all of us, we educate ourselves, local educators and youth mentors to adapt trauma informed, culturally grounded curricula. Those are
Yeah.
curriculums that will fit them. So empowering girls through literacy, digital skills, and leadership training, recognizing that educated girls rebuild nations is very important. Educated youth as well. In general, both boys and girls, they do the same thing. We can do this. Start small. Start with one child, maybe in your home, and then bring a neighbor's child in, and then bring a neighbor in. It starts right there when they see that you're doing a good thing and you're doing
Yes.
it from the bottom of your heart because they can feel it. The vibration you send in the atmosphere can be felt. And that's how you attract the kind of people that you attract towards you. That is very, very important. So we can partner with international NGOs and governments to prioritize education as a core component of humanitarian responses. So when we have the resources and the enablers, the aid in terms of finances and materials, we're going to start partnering with people because it takes a financial support and resources to partner with these people.
Sure.
You know how the world goes. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to be sure to be an active part in the formation of policies in the government, maybe in government all over the world because we are global. We are global.
Exactly.
We need to
Yes.
teach our children and ourselves following our culture. What is your culture? What is the culture that you were born with? God gave us those things, but what is the culture that your parents train you with? That is what we should be doing. Because if we want these children to be better and the world to be a better place for all, it is not a size fits all. No,
No, it's not.
maybe the world is developed right now with this high technology. It's going to be easy. We have interpreters. Maybe we go to an area where they can't speak English or French or they can't speak my dialect. Now we have interpreters. Then they can do a good job there and we communicate that way. The world, it's so better now in terms of technology that we can do a lot of things. So when we
Yes.
cannot speak of peace and rebuilding without speaking of blackboards, books, and bold minds. Children that speak boldly with humility and respect, that's what we call bold, not shouting, not screaming, not calling them. That's not what bold is all about here. So we cannot speak of peace and rebuilding without speaking of blackboards, books, and bold minds. That is the principle of one global movement. So hope is a curriculum. Hope is already a curriculum. We know that. You can turn hope into a curriculum. Real stories of resilience. We talk about our little girl Malila here all the time. We talk about a lot of other people that we quote here all the time. And what about you? Let's do that. In Syria, for instance, a 12-year-old named Amira teaches younger children the alphabet under a tree
Yep.
in Syria, under a tree. Her school, and that tree is her school. Her school, after
Okay.
her classroom was bombed. That is her classroom. Yes. You heard me say I was reading, doing my homework around a fireplace, and that was my electricity. And with the trucan that we formed from the leftover from palm nuts, that we were happy. And those are natural things that people can see and say, "Oh, that's poor, that's poverty." No, it's not poverty. That is what we have at that present moment, and we are utilizing it, and we are helping until electricity come. Before electricity come,
Absolutely.
use what you have where
Yep.
you are and then it will come according to your mindset. So this is so important, and we have to give credit to this 12-year-old Amira in Syria. So in South Sudan, for instance, boys take turns reading a donated textbook by candlelight. We can make candles too. Candlelight in a refugee tent. In Ukraine, digital classroom powered by volunteers keep displaced learners connected to math, history, and one another. And in other areas of the world, it's doing the same thing. Because you have people like us all over who are making sure that this is happening for these children. So these are
Yes.
not stories of pity. No, don't pity them.
No.
When you
No.
pity them, let your pity be embedded in a book, in a pencil, in a backpack, in a writing material, in some sneakers, in something. Pity alone does not help. And don't even show pity, because these children are more resilient than you and I. They are
Yes.
more resilient. So they are testimonies of human tenacity. Don't pity them. You know, their stories are testimonies of human tenacity. They are writing history with their stories. And those are the stories that you and I are reading and we can afford to talk about. And so let us give them credit by helping them. So, and these stories, they remind us that the strongest resilience against war is an educated child. That's what it does. So now a call to action. We can never go through without a call to action. Let me see 1 second here. I have to check this. We are in the world of technology. Let me see if
Okay.
one of the volunteers that is
Okay.
please 1
Okay.
second.
All right. Maybe they want to join us. That would be nice.
Yeah, that,
But
that would be so nice.
what you're actually talking about is the grassroots, right? We can't keep
Yes,
waiting for big government movements and everything. That might happen and that might not happen, but on the ground, right where you are, right, the smallest common denominator is where your backyard is. That's
yes.
where you start this, and I mean, it's tangible support you're talking about. Sympathy and even empathy without action doesn't really help anybody.
Right.
You have to have action. And as Malala talks about, the one pen, the one book, the one teacher, we
Mhm.
can't wait for a global reformation. It might not happen like that. It's just one person
Yes.
taking the stand. And I divided the topic into three, just the topic alone into three parts on
Mhm.
the power of education. Education in crisis zone is more than a right, as you said. It is a resistance, it's a resilience, and it's restoration. And when we invest in the minds of young people amidst conflict, we invest in the future stability and the recovery of entire nations. Because the conflict that's affecting these children obviously is affecting the nation. And so when we educate them, as you said, and they can think for themselves and make reasonable arguments, but when you have no education, you can't read and write, how can you contribute? You can't. You can't. And then we're also going to talk about the educators and the
Yes.
local champions. We often speak of the infrastructure and funding, but we must also honor the unsung heroes, the local teachers, the
Yes.
mentors, and the community leaders who risk everything to keep learning alive in the darkest of places. They literally, when we say risk everything, it's not just a throwaway phrase, because some places are highly resistant to educating, especially girls,
Mhm.
right? There's a danger of pushback against that and violent pushback. So
Mhm.
these people who are honing that space and pushing it forward, they are at much risk as the students are. Everybody's at risk in that situation. The girl you spoke about, Amira or Amina,
Mhm.
who is educating under a tree, she's exposed. Some persons who doesn't want to see that can
Yep.
attack her class. She doesn't have any security guard.
Mhm.
She is risking her life. So this is a serious thing. And each time I read things like this with the water and with education, I think how fortunate we are here. You know, it might seem like, we can't go to this school because it's full or whatever. But those are minor things compared to a person who can't go to school at all
Who
or
can't
has
even
to.
have a bottle of water to drink?
Exactly. Or risk their very lives, whether because of the culture or because
Mhm.
they have to travel these dangerous distances to get to school, if there's even one to get to. It's just amazing, the dichotomy, how we see. My daughter has a way of saying first world problem, and she always says that. Because when you complain about, this car doesn't have air conditioning or whatever, she thinks, what? Do you know that there are people who don't have places to sleep? You
Mhm.
know? So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I divided it into three places, sister. The power of education, as you're talking about, and the educators who you just championed there a while ago, and then our global responsibility. Educating youth in crisis zone should not be viewed as charity, as you also said. It's not sympathy, it's a global responsibility. And when one child loses access to education, the whole world loses a piece of its future potential. This is true
Mhm. Yep.
because we're all tapestry, we're all part of it. So when one person is left out for any reason, it's like when you make a quilt and that one piece is not there. You know what I mean? It's the
Right.
same thing with this. So go ahead, sister. I just covering
Yes.
because you're.
Yep. Yep. When this happens, it's just like you say, a quilt or a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a globe. The globe is one. We never
Yeah.
created the world.
Yeah.
God created it for a reason.
He
We
did.
are part of the same whole.
Yes, we are.
We are
Yes, we
part of the same whole, whether you like it or not.
are.
Um, the divisions or the class created in society, or this one is higher class, this one is lower class. All of those things are man-made creation to
Yes.
continue to make these children to go through things that is not of their own making. We created all of those divisions. There's really
Yes.
no need, if we can just practice to do away with all those lines, those divisions, those
Mm.
words, you will realize that you're happy with yourself. Because I am happy with myself. I don't like to discriminate, but I stand firm on the truth, especially when it concerns children and young
Yes.
people and women. And so it is so important, you know, let us do it. The doing is what is important, not the saying or not the pointing out, not, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry you had to go through this. It's not going to help. Let us do something, and there is always something to be done.
Yes.
Imagine a young person in some of these zones forgoing their own breakfast or lunch to give it to other kids that are in refugee camps, and they don't even have. And these are young people that are doing it. How more of you and I? How more of all
Yes.
of us here? So, one global movement calls all of us here to action. Let us act in one voice because we are one. We are one movement. Let us act as one. One global movement calls on governments, donors, activists, educators, families, and faith based communities to invest boldly in education for youth in conflict zones, and do it truly with love, not doing it with strings attached, not doing it because you want to gain something, not doing it because you heard about something you don't even know, you didn't carry out your research. It takes time to carry out research. Don't just watch the news and then you conclude it. No. The person that says they love you, when you don't see them doing, taking the action to do what they say that they're going to do, they don't truly love you. See
Mm-mm.
it, research it. The world is a global village where you can find anything if you want to, especially with this brand new technology that some of us are enjoying now that we never grew up with. So this
Yep.
is very, very important. You know, it takes one global movement to awaken the world to a child's cry for learning in the storm of war. It
Mm-hmm.
takes us
Mm-hmm.
all to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, it
So
does.
together, I believe, and I highly believe that we can rewrite the story because we are already doing it, but we have to keep doing it and doing it better, but taking action and pulling together resources. We not with bombs. Together we can rewrite the story, not with bombs, but with books, with pens and pencils, with backpacks, with shoes, with love, with hope. Not with fear, but with freedom. Let's build a world where no war can silence the classroom and no child must choose between survival and school. In the spirit
Mm.
of global movement, We declare here that even in the ashes of war, education must rise as the first pillar of peace. Yes, it must. We are not just educating youth, we are healing nations here in One Global Movement. That's what we declare. And we declare that safe learning is a sacred human right,
Yes.
not a casualty of conflict. No, it is a sacred human right. So
It is.
it is so important that we come together to do this. And sister, you mentioned a while ago about all the time, not just a while ago. You talk a lot about Malala and the youth
Mm-hmm.
around the world. And the most important thing, you talk about water. Do you
Yes.
know? I know this because I wasn't drinking clean water, but to me it was clean because I lived in the bush for more than 3 months at the age of 11 because the bush became my home. But in that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was not afraid. I was happy. I was happy because things were downloading in my mind, downloading. And when I'm thirsty, I walk and I go to the stream because there were streams all over. I drink
Oh.
and I drank good water from there. And then when
Yeah.
I'm hungry, I go and fetch for fruits because the fruits were everywhere, and I will eat.
Yeah.
Imagine, just imagine
Nice.
a child in a conflict zone. They don't even have
They don't
uh,
have that. They don't have
water
that.
to drink.
No. No,
They
they
can't
don't.
even shower. Shower is the last thing they're thinking about. But
Yes.
imagine if they have a book in their hand where it directs them to where they can go for water, clean water, where they can go, where they can seek refuge, where they can go for peace, where they can ask somebody to teach them. Imagine that. Just imagine that. This is what we are talking about here. It
Mm-hmm.
is a special call to global leaders. Lead with peace, with light, and lead with a path to learning. And then, free from all the challenges that our children are facing in the world. You talk about teachers. I urge all the parents to teach their children to write a letter if your child is going to school. That is a rare opportunity for some children that they're not even thinking about. They're thinking about peace. Write a letter to your teachers and thank them for what they're doing.
Yes.
This is part of learning. Write a simple thank you note. You can write it together with your children that our family thank you, because these teachers are doing more than, they're not just being teachers, they're being counselors, they're being parents, they're being caregivers. Some of them are being nurses. They're doing all kinds of things. So let us,
Mm-hmm.
that is part of learning. We teach our children this, and they are rewriting the history of, instead of a war torn or crisis zone, they are writing, this is a learning zone for me. And it starts from our homes. It really
Mm-hmm.
starts from
It
our
does.
home.
It
So a
does.
special call to all our global leaders and leaders. We all are leaders here. It's not just government officials. It's not just uh, 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 ministry officials. All of us here are leaders, but more so government leaders that set the rules of every nation to come together to lead with peace, with light, which is a path to learning. From One Global Movement, on behalf of the world's children, youth, and young women in crisis, to every president, prime minister, parliament, or parliamentarian and power holder, this is not just a message. This is a plea. We are pleading here with tears in our eyes and with love from our heart. This is a promise. We, the torchbearers of One Global Movement, call you, the leaders of our world, to rise beyond politics and position and become guardians of peace. Because we see things happening every day. And because of this One Global Movement, I do a lot of research that exposes me to a lot of things that really hurt me every day, and I cry. I cry when
Yes.
I cry. I cry when I'm in the garden. I'm like, but why? Look at me here. I'm eating 3 meals a day. I'm drinking water all the time. Why? So we, the torchbearers of One Global Movement, call on you, the leaders of our world to rise beyond politics and position and become guardians of peace, protectors of learning, and champions of human dignity. Let's rise above that, above power, above greed, above ego. Let's rise above that. Lead the world towards peace, safety, and literacy. Right now, in war-torn villages, refugee camps, and crisis-affected communities, millions of children are living in silence, robbed of school, of safety, of the simple right to dream. They're not even thinking about their dreams anymore. They're thinking of where to hide. What can I do so that I don't get shut down? So we ask you to look beyond the numbers and see the names, the faces, the futures at stake, the hearts of these children. What if this was your child? What would you do? The world does not need louder voices. No, it needs braver hearts. One
Yes.
Global Movement advocates for this. We implore you to take bold, unified action to end conflict with courage and diplomacy, not destruction. Fund and protect schools in crisis zone as sacred, unavoidable spaces without any strings attached. Make girls' education and youth literacy a central global priority.
Yes.
Place compassion, empathy, and love at the heart of global decision making. Let this be the generation where we lead not by force, but by faith in humanity. Let's believe in our children, where we invest not in weapons, but in wisdom, where we no longer build borders around safety and education, but bridges to hope, healing, and knowledge. We urge you, show compassion in every policy. Let us go and speak to our leaders with respect and dignity. Show love in every funding decision. Show empathy in every summit and strategy. And a leader's true legacy is measured by the lives they lifted, not the title they hold. We need to remember this. Your title will never be remembered, but you will be remembered by the lives you have uplifted. And therefore, you and I, the same. The world is watching One Global Movement. The world is watching you. The world is watching all of us here. The children are watching. Now is the time. At this moment, what are you going to do if you have not already started thinking of doing something? Don't leave from here and come back again here just to listen. Do something. Do something. And if you don't know what to do or you need help, let's discuss this. The children are waiting. This is your moment to step forward, not just as heads of states or families, but as servants of the global soul, the soul that are languishing in crisis and in war-torn zones. Because when you invest in peace, you secure your people, your children. When you invest in literacy, you shape history. And when you protect children, you protect the future of the earth itself. This is so important. One Global Movement is ready to partner with you. Let's be the change history never forgets. Let's do something here that nobody, even if they try to forget, it would not let them forget. Let's do it. One Global Movement is ready to partner with you. Let's be the change. Peace is not a luxury. Safety is not a favor. Learning is not an option. They are the birthright of every single child. One Global Movement advocating. So thank you guys so much for everything. Sister, if you have anything else, go ahead and let's do it.
Well, I just wanna talk about the hard part of this. This is the statistics. Learning
Yes.
against all odds highlights the significant challenges and disparities in education, particularly for youth in crisis zones. We're talking about that here. It
Mhm.
emphasizes the need for increased funding and resources to support quality education for over 224 million children affected by armed conflict, displacement, and other emergencies. Despite these needs, funding for education, this is the part I want to read, in crisis situation has recently decreased.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying we need to do more, but if we
Yes.
need to do more, it's going to come from us down
Yes.
here at the next, the lower level, if you want to call it that, because
Yes.
up there, this is not the gap in educational opportunities for vulnerable populations, so far then means it's down on the priority list. Education for youth in crisis zones faces significant challenges with millions of children and adolescents lacking access to quality education. A large number, as I spoke of on Wednesday, are out of school, while many are enrolled but not achieving even the minimum proficiency levels
Mm-hmm.
because it's so interrupted, especially for girls. As I said, once a month, they don't go to schools when they have their, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Vulnerable groups like girls, refugees, and those with disabilities are disproportionately affected. Can you imagine? Not only are you running for your life, but you have a physical disability.
Yes.
You are doubly vulnerable. Education is often deprioritized during crisis, receiving a small fraction of humanitarian aid. So when people go in to help, they're not saying, how can we educate these children? The basics they might bring is food or housing, but the rest is.
Yes.
Several nations, though, are actively working to improve education in youth crisis zones, with some showing, I'll list them, some showing positive statistics in specific areas. Examples include Nigeria, with something called the Agile Project,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on safe infrastructures and skills training for adolescent girls. And in Somalia, Education for Human Capital Development Project, that's the name of it, aims to decrease or aims to increase access and quality in underserved areas, particularly for girls, always, because girls need to catch up. And you
Yep.
mentioned the Ukraine. The Ukraine is also receiving support for education because that war has been going on for how long now, right in our lifetime,
Yep. Yep.
including funding for teacher salaries and online tutoring for displaced students. So these are some positive things that are happening. But as
Yes.
you were mentioning, of course, we want to lock hands with everybody who wants to come and be with us on OGM. But also, whatever whatever you want to find is on the internet, right?
Yes.
If you have an idea as to how you want to spend your $20, whatever, just your support, your letter writing, just search for it in Google, right? You
Yes.
will find it. And then you will use your intuition or your discretion and figure out, does this seem like something I want to support, right?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody can find something to do with $20, $10. It adds up. This is why GoFundMe works because people don't ask for millions of dollars, they ask for $2,
Yep.
right? My daughter just did she's doing a school, a church walkathon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a level, a low level, she calls it, at 250 to $250, our Canadian dollars, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
making almost $600. People want good things to support. That's my point I'm trying to make. You
Yes.
just have to put it out there and ask for the help. Ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. You say that, right? You
Yes.
have to
Yes.
ask, right?
Yes.
People want to support good things. I know that because I support a lot of things. Not a lot of money, I don't have,
No,
but
it doesn't. It starts small. It
it
starts
starts
small.
small.
That small is a lot for somebody.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Especially when it goes to other countries, like the one I tell you about, Kiva. Those women, I support most of the women portion of it. They buy seeds, sister. They do what you're doing. They buy seeds, and then they come and maybe they ask for a little bit of what do you call it? The tools that will
Mm-hmm.
make life a little bit easier, like the opening of the soil and stuff. You know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm.
hoe and the stuff. And they because generally they will use their hands to do that because they have families to feed.
Yep.
Children need to go to school. So people are doing things, but they need the support. And the support is going to come from us because as I just read, when the government or NGOs go into these areas, the first thing on their mind is not how we can bring education. They want to think about health issues or clothing or housing or food, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Education drops down lower and lower on the list. But education is what we said. You give somebody a fish, sure you fed them.
Yep.
But when you show them how to fish, then they can go ahead, and that's generational that they're building there.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
that's my
important.
contribution, sister. Thank you.
I am really so happy you emphasize that, like we always say, go down to the lowest level, starts from the roots.
It does.
Because if the
Yeah.
roots are not well planted, we are not going just to be looking at the government.
No.
You have to start with yourself right there from the roots. You know, this garden that I'm doing, I wasn't going to sit around and be asking for money.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
think the people get that money? You need to look for something to do to get that money. So people now are now donating the money, and I give
Yeah.
them vegetables in turn. Nothing
Yeah.
goes for nothing. We don't want to build that spirit of dependency in our children when
Exactly.
we ourselves cannot do something. So when people are supporting their volunteers, other people in the community, some people will just come. They say, you know what? I like what you're doing. Thank you so much. Take this donation. You don't have to give me any fruit or vegetable.
There you
So it
go.
so we can do something, because you can sit, you're going to sit and wait. In the end, there is nothing. So why don't you do something? Do something. Like I planted apple trees 4 years ago when we moved to our new home. I was thinking of this one global movement. I said, those trees, I planted apple trees and plum trees in front of the home and behind. All the roads meet in our home. And so I
Mm.
said, this one will be for children and people that are passing that don't have those fruits. Now
Ah,
everybody is free to pluck them and eat them. And that is
yes.
something, when you offer to people like that, a lot of people will come back to say, wow, and wow, I'm going to support this
Yes.
organization. And
Yes.
yes, and I'm thinking I'm going to ask the city if it's okay to put the One Global Movement logo in front of my home.
Ah, yes. So they will
So
know
they
where it
know
came from. Yes.
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 So
Yes.
it's so important, and it's yielding results. Now we will get to the point where we'll print One Global Movement T-shirts, and we
Mm-hmm.
all support it by buying. I'm going to buy my own too, because
Mm-hmm.
I am a servant of One Global Movement. The fact that we are pioneering, it doesn't mean that we have to get things for free. Nothing is for free. We want to teach the spirit of independence instead of
Yes.
dependency in our
Yes.
children, because the
Mm-hmm.
world has a lot, regardless of what the world has been built to be. But you build your own the way that you were created. If they shut the door on you, don't worry about it. Leave that door alone. It wasn't meant for you. Go build your own door and walk through it with dignity
Absolutely.
and respect, because you were born
Absolutely.
with greatness. So let us support learning. Let us not say, oh, there's a war, I can't help. No. Let us be like the one lady that I watched when the Israelites and the Palestinians in one of their fights. This little 2-year-old, Mama, get up, let's go. They shot the mom. And this boy, the blood was oozing all over his body. I cried like crazy. I'm like, why? This lady was just going around, picking up all the children, saying, please help me. Help me. What am I going to feed these children with? I was supposed to send something, but I couldn't send it. Some laws,
Yeah.
they don't let you send things.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's
I
do
know.
something. There's always something to be done, but let's start from our home with ourselves
Absolutely. Yes.
about it. And as time goes on, we're going to be asking that we contribute here. When you contribute anything from where you come from, you look for a place in your community that we can use that same money in your community to contribute towards the children in your community.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. So we
Absolutely.
want to, we will make that something like something encouraging, because when say I come from your United States, what are the issues that people are facing here in my community? If I contribute, that money should be invested here. If you contribute in Canada, or maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
contributing like me, I'll be contributing for 3 countries or all
Yeah.
over the world anyway.
Oh,
So
you're global.
I will also ask you, what is in that community that we can support for children
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of taking the money out.
Mhm.
So that's
Yes.
that's the thing. So we pray to God. I'm praying that things move, and our CEO will
Yes.
put hand to support us here to get to where we want to go.
I know.
Yeah, and it's coming. It's coming little by little. It's coming. So thank you
It
guys so
is.
much for being here. I highly appreciate you. I better get back to the garden here. Thank you, Esther Abdul Sattar, and our managing director, and I'm not going to be able to read all the comment. Pardon me. Thank you to our beautiful sister Sharon for the beautiful creation that you always do for One Global Movement. We appreciate you,
Yes,
and
thank you.
thank you, sister, for being here. I'm looking for the link so that I can make sure
Oh, the
that.
Facebook link?
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sister, for supporting us all the time and for your love for children. We appreciate you. And we have Ginger. How are you, sister? Thank you so much for being a part of us again today. We highly appreciate your contribution and your love. And Sunil, how are you, sir? Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you as well. And here is okay, this is
No,
the
that's the other one. That's the other one. Yes, yeah.
yes, this is the
That's the
StreamYard.
StreamYard. Yeah.
StreamYard is very good. This is what we are using here, and you can connect to Facebook and all to YouTube. It's a very good thing. So if you want to subscribe, that's fine. That we then give a One Global Movement $10. That will go a long way to help a child or a young person somewhere. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Mhm.
And we have Kenita. How are you? Thank you so
Mhm.
much for joining us here. We appreciate you. Maria Jones, how are you, sister? We appreciate your presence here today. Hello, Brilia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you. And Sir Abdul Sattar, we appreciate you for being here as always, supporting our children. We have Sir Ashidi Sagma. Thank you so much, sir. We highly appreciate you as well. And let's go down here. We have Sir Rohazehab. How are you? Thank you for your love and your support for our children worldwide. We appreciate you. And let's go here. We
You must
have
have you must have missed the link because I know I put it in there. So
yes, I'll go back. I will see. Yeah, I must have missed it. So,
yeah,
Sir
okay. It's down here again.
Ahmed, how are you? Thank you so much for always supporting One Global Movement. We appreciate you. And we have, let's see here. We have Pankaj Saho. How are you, sir? We appreciate you for being with us today. Thank you so much. Our beautiful sister, Hashleta Topo. We appreciate you, sister. Thank you so much for being with us today. And then we have our beautiful sister, Clover Kelly. How are you? Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
And we have Mohammed Ashraf. How are you, sir? Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And we have here Relal Shohan. If I don't pronounce your name well, don't worry, I will keep learning. Thank you so much. If you're new here, please subscribe. Let us begin to do hashtags a lot. Those hashtags that will expose One Global Movement, like hashtag defeat hunger, hashtag defeat illiteracy, not just defeating, eradicate it totally, eradicate hunger, eradicate illiteracy, eradicate poverty, or hashtag learning, hashtag education first, hashtag we are one, hashtag peace, hashtag help, hashtag something. Those beautiful hashtags that will expose One Global Movement to the world. We need to do that so that those algorithms will pick them up, and then we will be exposed and we will get the resources that we need to support our population. Thank you. And we have Sir Ashakuma. Thank you, sir, for always being with us. We appreciate you. We have Kay Malafi. How are you, sir? We appreciate you for being with us here today. Thank you so much. Your presence matters to us. And let's go down here. If I miss a happy birthday, always receive a happy birthday from Sister Sharon to everyone that is celebrating their birthday today, because we know people celebrate birthdays every day. Thank you. And let's go here. Goldie Kerr. Thank you, sir, for being with us today. We appreciate you. And please always press the big thumbs up. And then
Hmm.
stars, heart, love, all of those things count a lot. It counts. It
Yeah.
exposes us a lot. And then we have, let's go down here. Uh, Okay, we have Gafu. How are you? Thank you for being a part of us today. We appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Very important. Subscribe and share. Always share this to one or two people every day when you watch, so that you are also helping to educate children that way. Please don't just watch it and keep it to yourself. Share it, reach some children and some families by sharing. This is the way that we can spread education to all corners of the globe. Thank you so much. And we have our brother Gutam. How are you, Gutam? Thank you so much for being with us here today. We appreciate you. And we have Asmat Hussein. How are you, sir? Thank you. We appreciate you for being with us. If you're new here, you are welcome into this global family. Let us keep doing what we are doing here. And be sure to share this. This is education firsthand. Let's share it with others.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please. Don't just keep these videos to yourself. Every time that you watch one global movement, share it to somebody in your own way. You think that you're just sharing, you are already educating somebody by sharing. So that is very important. Sharing is caring, please.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the link here, our Facebook link. Please like and follow. Always go there. And please, you can also make it a commitment to set a goal for yourself that you're going to share it with other people that can also like and follow, so that we can gain the momentum that we need in order to spread the gospel of one global movement to the world. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Okay.
uh,
Mhm.
we are done for today, and I'm going to hop right back. I should have shown you the corn. I forgot. I'll show you the corn that I'm harvesting. But thank you so much for being here. And sister, give the conclusion, and we say bye bye to everyone.
So I would just like to quote with Isaiah. This is the book of wisdom, the Bible. It says, on giving and sustaining others. If you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness. Isn't that
Can
simple?
you read that one more time so that everybody will get it?
Isaiah 58:10 says, when you give and you sustain others, if you spend yourself in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of those who are oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness.
Yes, thank you. Very certain. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
I
everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for
Yes,
being
have
with
a great
us.
one. We'll see you next week. We love you all. Bye bye.
Bye.